Hello. Here we are. Okay, we're live. Yay. All right. So, Heather here from Ewe Ewe Yarns, and maybe you can see I've got a little I thought we'd get a little crazy with the color wheel today. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about color and how it works and how you can use it in your knitting. What do you think? If you're here with me live, I love it if you say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I am near San Diego. It's sunny and warmish. Anyway, I would love to know where you're tuning in from. And I also love hearing what you're knitting. I have a Roxana hat here on my studio desk today. But what I really want to talk about is colors and something that's called like analogous colors or color families. So you can see this shawl. This is called Tilted Tiles. And this beautiful shawl uses 5 colors of our woolly worsted yarn in a green family. And if I had told you I was going to put light green with charcoal and make a shawl out of it, I don't like, maybe you like that combo, but maybe you don't. But if we sort of transition from soft sage all the way to this rich charcoal color, it starts to tell a story and it really starts to make sense. And that is kind of what I wanted to talk about. Reasons why it works, why you want to do it with your knitting projects. So if we take Tilted Tiles as an example, the green color family goes from, we can think about green. Let's just get our green. Where is it? I don't know now. All right, I might just get my little basket. Here we are. Here we go. This is going to make Heather's life easier. So we have green going on. Pistachio is my main shade of green here at UU. And we can knit it with a lighter color, which is called a tint. So when you take a main color, like say green on the color wheel, and you add white to it, that is called a tint. And then when you add black to it, like here in the case of Forest Fern, that is called a shade. So in the case of the Tilted Tiles shawl, you see we have our main color green, and we have our tint, and we also move through to our shade. But to add a little interest, we also threw in the teal color, and then we rounded it out with charcoal here. So you can see we kind of take these colors and make a little family out of it. And the reason that works is because these colors all kind of sit next to each other on the color wheel. So here is, you recognize the color wheel. You have your red, your blue, your green, your orange. We go through yellow. But what works is when you take colors that are next to each other, and this is called analogous colors. So we have our main green, which we have here in our pistachio. And then we can go one side of it to the bluer greens. We could go to the more yellow greens too. So anywhere when you take sort of a section of the color wheel like this, those kind of tones are going to be more likely to work together because they are called analogous colors. And it's a good idea to use those color stories like this, like all greens or reds, yellows, purples. When you want something that has an interest but can create a more almost like refined look. You know, if you see someone all in creams and wheats and neutrals, here, like what do we think when we see that? Something in this sort of story. Like if we take this chocolate and move it over here, like, you know, you think of like a creamy winter white with a beautiful camel colors coat or something like that. You know, you can take your grays. Like how good does a palette of just gray on gray look? Always, always beautiful. So that's how it can work even if you want to do a color. Like say you want to do, okay, you're not a green person. Green can get polarizing for people. What if you are, Heather, I like purples. Okay, fine. So let's take purple. This is called Iris Blossom here from Ewe Ewe. And in the purple family, we can go with our tint into like, I call this lavender, call it lilac, call it whatever you want. And then we could go even lighter. This vanilla would take that story even brighter. Or we can go indigo, which would take that, you know, you go light to dark in this story. But if we want to go sort of around that color wheel, what colors are we happening with? We have violet, red, red. So maybe we don't want to get all the way to red, but we want to stay in this sort of category. So what I would do then, I love this matchup with the purple and the lavender, but maybe we want to add in a bit of pink. So, okay, pink and purple is always a good combo because they sit close to each other. So like, okay, that's looking fun. What if we add in a heathered? So this has a bit of the grays tones. Look how pretty that looks. So the silver tones in the heather play off of the silver tones of the lavender. And then you can move into the berry and the iris blossom. And then if you want to go darker, you can move into that red story like I was showing you. But maybe you want to take the weight of that iris blossom and move it into a heavier red. So let me show you. I've got yarn everywhere over here. It's like my dream day. Let's see. Okay. So we have this right here happening. Maybe I'll lower my table a little bit. Then I can talk a little more easily to the camera. Okay, so we have this happening. We're going from light lavender across to a rich red. And like I said, maybe you didn't want to get into the reds, but if we take out the red velvet, the heavier color, and put in this red, look how different that is. So that's why we didn't want to get into red, because there's a lot of like vibrating color there. Maybe you do like that, but if you go with something a little darker, look how much that just changes it. It's kind of fun, isn't it? Neat to watch how the color can work across families like that. Oh, we have people in the chat. Great. Anne, Anne from Quebec, thank you for coming. Knitting for Christmas. I love your shawls. Beautiful colors. Thank you, Anne. Nice to see you today. Deborah, love knitting with your yarns. Heather, always great colors too. Thanks, Deborah. Yeah, you have some of that red velvet, don't you? Hi, Anne, East Texas. Yes, always great to see you, Anne. Got my package yesterday with more yarn to make more Sophie scarves. One of my friends insisted on calling it a cozy. Oh, that's cute. I'm making two myself, two Sophie scarves. They are out by the sofa. They're not in here today. Deborah, wow, what a cool gradient. Yes, best with red velvet. Isn't that neat? Isn't that fun to see how much that little story changes with red velvet? But I wonder, now I'm getting ideas. Okay, so we like the red velvet and the purple, but can we get, okay, so red and purple are kind of a high contrast. There's a group of ladies that the purple hat, right? They wear red and purple. This has a lot of vibraty colors to it, which is maybe why it doesn't appeal to everybody, or it doesn't look as toned back as something like this. But we can do it. We can also do it with the blues. That's a fun one. So we can take our midnight blue, which is a nice rich navy. And we can, oh boy, my yarn is all over the place here. I gotta get these back in order. Get them out. Okay, so here we have our two blues, which again, this is shades. So if you take a standard color like blue, green, and then you add black to it, that's how you get the shade of a color. And then if you add white to it, you get the tint. So here we have just a blue from white to black, let's say. You know, we can add the white and the black. And then that story makes sense. Like, that's a beautiful gradient. But if we want to go in the path that I was talking about, so we can take the blues, and then if we think about what is next to blue on a color wheel, here we are. So we'll take our color wheel and spin it around this way this time. So we go blue, blue, green, blue, violet, violet. Okay, so here in UU land, we'll go with our regular blue. This is called Sapphire, really pretty blue. So I won't go for tints and shades, whites or blacks in the color. We will go purples. We'll go both directions. Excuse me. So we take, this is a color called Indigo. And indigo is kind of a confusing color because it's more toward violet, but it's not so violet that it's purple. So it's just kind of a funky color. Not a lot of companies have it. Kind of a unique shade here at UU, but it's kind of that red, purple. It kind of sits on its own. So you can see it next to blue. It definitely looks purple when you put it next to blue, but it doesn't look as purple when you put it next to purple. And if I show it to you next to the midnight, it's definitely not midnight either. But there's a color combo that is gorgeous. Wow. Okay, anyway, we're not going to play with that. We are going to go from blue to violet. So we could add that in there. And then if we go back the other way, we start to get into, what did it say here? Blue-green. So we can add the teal. And then if you'd like to go to green, these little skeins get so bouncy in my hand. So there. Oh, hold on. So there you go. Here we are. Okay, so this, we've taken an analogous color story from blue and gone 2 shades around the rainbow, around the color wheel toward the green, and 2 shades toward the purple. And if we want to make bigger jumps, we could get rid of that dark green and add brighter green and get rid of this purple and move into something like berry. So you can see how quickly, oh geez, these little skeins get so bouncy. You can, oh, wrong way. Making a mess, Heather. So you can see how quickly you can make a blend, or, you know, a rainbow specific to a color story that somebody likes. Like, how fun is that? Just off an analogous section of the color wheel. So yeah, we went from, I mean, I did chuck that pink in there. So yeah, we did this. We went across this way. Almost, yeah, we went halfway around from red to green, basically, with that. There you go. That's halfway around the color wheel. Because if you go from, like we know, because it's coming up to Christmas time, red and green, are opposite on the color wheel. Here we are, red and green. And that means those are contrasting colors. Because if you think about it in the paint world, there's no red in green because you use, well, if you go for your primaries, red, blue, and yellow. And doing this all backwards is a little challenging. To make purple, you have red and blue. To make green, you have blue and yellow. And then to make orange, you have red and yellow. If I go this way, this would make my visual a little faster. Oh, sorry. So anyway, you have, when you're making these, there's none of the split color in the other side. So there's no red to make green, and there's no green in red. So that's why they're contrasty. That's why when you get sports colors, it'll be purple and orange because they're opposites. So anyway, hello. Let's see. Oh, I got more chats today. This is fun. Love your videos. Looking forward to the knit along. Me too, Kathy. That's a good sweater to show color stories. I have mine right here. I really love it. So this is one I went for a tonal look. Not usually my style. You know, I'm a little contrast, but I like a pop. But I just wanted a nice simple sweater in good tones. So this is the Heathers in the saffron color, and then I used the woolly worsted in the plain saffron. So that, and then I even went with like brownish buttons. So when I wear this, I know sort of where it sits, and I can add contrast with the rest of my clothes. But it is a great sweater to add a pop. Like here, the first one I knit had the charcoal, and then I did the pistachio on top. So the idea is to pop something, but I went rogue on my latest one. Okay, let's get back. Deborah, beautiful. Never thought of the first gradient, but I love it. Thank you. But I like the second one too. See, this is where color gets a little out of control. Because yeah, when you start making fun stacks like this, it's like you kind of can't go wrong. But that is the whole point of the UU yarn line. If you didn't know, I am a graphic designer by trade, and I designed these colors to all work together, just like I showed you. So that's why, there's not 15 shades of pink, and there's not, 6 shades of royal blue. Each color has its place and position. And then you can take those colors and make them do different things with the other colors on the color wheel. Like we said, if you want green to have a contrast, you bring it up here to the red. And then you get your contrast. But you want to do it more muted, you can take it, or if you want to do something that's more green than red, you can go with your shade and your tint. So each place each yarn has its place and is designed to work with all the other colors. So yeah, that was just a quick little fun color theory lesson. So if you like this lesson, or topic rather, you can let me know in the comments, and I'd be happy to talk about a different one. We could do complementary colors one day, secondary, tertiary. I could go forever spinning around on a color wheel. And that is why you can pretty much pick up any colors of UU and get them to work together. So, here we have a teal and an aqua, and then to go for a pop, we went for citrus. Here we made a shift cowl. This is a pattern by Andrea Mallory. Great pattern, fun to make, but we kept it tonal. So this has the wheat and the teal, and then the pistachio. And you can just see how they work off of each other as the little cowl goes along. Really pretty. So some contrast and some subtlety that happens all together through the whole cowl. Or maybe you want to stay in a color family, but go for high contrast. Here's another version of the greens. So this is called Spacular by Megan Schmaltz, and it uses fluffy fingering and in the soft sage, and then it has the color shift to the dark green of the forest fern. So we had our green, like in this one. Apparently we like green, but we leapt from the tint to the shade and didn't go through the standard hue in the middle. But you know what? It works. That's the trick here at UU, is you can pull them together and they're going to work. Here in the Color Parade shawl, this is in fluffy fingering too. Super pretty pattern. This one is obviously much higher in contrast. So we went for kind of a rainbow. We have pink, yellow, blue, purple. So we don't have any green going on in here, but sort of, anyway. And then on a dark background with these bright colors, it creates a high contrast project. But if you take this same shawl and knit it in a more tonal, look how pretty and how much it changes. So this is the exact same shawl, but we went with neutrals and a little bit of contrast there with the black and the black edging. This has the aqua edging, but look how different these two shawls look. Same exact pattern, just a different palette. How cute is that? Fun. Anyway, that is how that's what I think about all day. How these colors can work together. And the best part about my day is when you order yarn in a color combo that I've never even thought of. That is like a dream to me. So, anyway, that is that. If you want to shop yarn, you can visit uu.com. Otherwise, I will be back here chatting about color or knitting or whatever the next topic is going to be. If you have a topic, you can always leave it in the comments. And like I said, if you want to hear more about color, you can let me know. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.